Hello folks, and welcome to my top 5 Steam Next Fest games of the current Next Fest. So the one I picked first was the Song of Six, because their demo was in the Next Fest, and I thought it was pretty good. The problem is the game didn't want to record, so this is the only one in the list that you're seeing the main page for instead of the actual game. You can see it got pretty good reviews. It's basically RimWorld, but scaled massively. So you can see these huge cities. RimWorld can get these cities, but the problem is, in RimWorld, your colonies go in the hundreds. In this game, they go into the thousands, and I think into the tens of thousands. And you can have more than just a couple colonies. From what I understand, you take over a map. I don't know if they show that in the. They show the battles off. There's a lot of units. Like each of these little squares is like 200 dudes, 150 to 200 dudes. So like I said, that it's a much higher scaled RimWorld that also has a sandbox battler. Like you can do this in basically a sandbox. You just pick what you want on each side. You can also choose it as a quick battle, so you could just automatically have two sides set up for you, and you get to play. I didn't have a whole lot of experience with the armies and the combat and everything, because I mostly focused on this RimWorld-esque gameplay, having the colony that you have set up and trying to make it work. It was a lot easier, I felt like, than RimWorld in the beginning, because RimWorld, you have such few characters, and if you screw stuff up, they kind of get murdered. In this game, I felt like the beginning is very it eases you into it. But yeah, basically medieval RimWorld that scales up. They also have other species of humanoids. I never had mods, or not mods, but I never had DLCs for RimWorld, and this doesn't have any DLCs from what I remember. I'm on the main page. I might as well look. There's no DLCs. It's just you buy the game and you have the game. You notice they also bring up Dwarf Fortress here. I never played Dwarf Fortress, but I've heard a lot about it. Personally, I'm a big RimWorld guy, so this kind of stuck out to me. The next one on the list is StoneWards. Currently, it is either friends only or solo. Right now I'm doing solo. Alright, so the gist of this game is that you defend the walls and you mine, and you're a dwarf. So that's basically all you need. So you grab loot. So with this loot I can do different things. I could either give it to this guy to level my character up, or I can give it to this guy to give me arrows, which I can use for the battle. There's also a guy who breaks chests, a guy who repairs your walls, and the guy in the middle who gets rid of tools that you don't like. So I just broke through and got a new tool. Works for me. More wood. Now I'm going to go trade that stuff in. Alright, so I just gave some stone. And I've got to pick I'm going to pick health. So, from what I understand, the upgrades are not shared, but every time you get an upgrade here, the whole team gets to pick their own upgrade. So in my case, I just got a bunch of health. And I'm going to pick which of these bows I'm going to keep, but basically the same thing. Get wood, more arrows for me. I believe if you use this, it'll start the wave early. Maybe it's just for fun. They gave us a bugle for fun. There you go, the real bugle. I find that most of the time I just use the bow and arrow. I don't really get into melee too often, even though I'm a dwarf man and not an elf. There's no elves in this game, as far as I know. Although there are like skinny orcs that come later. Maybe those are elves. They're like weird looking elves. But yeah, just defending the gate. So you can see at the top how many enemies are left. Yeah, I should have just meleeed that guy. Once they're close enough, there's no point in arrowing them, but it's habit. But yeah, there are like little mini bosses like this guy, and if you get too close to them, like I just did, they aggro. Okay, let's melee. I win this. Little dwarf man always wins. There you go. Now this is an upgrade that you have to pick at the end of your wave, basically, and the whole team has to make a decision on which one you get. Otherwise, it gets randomized between whatever people voted for. Chance of enemies dropping. Go for more health. I'm a big health guy. So part of the loop is afterwards, you normally would go to the campfire to get your health back, if you feel like it. And you'll regen slowly over time. If you have the upgrade, because I just realized I don't have that upgrade. But that's basically a loop. Mine put stuff in whoever you want to invest in, and then go attack. That's basically the game. I played it with 2 other people, and I thought it was pretty good. Welcome to Hope 01. So this is a kind of an extraction shooter. It's a side-scrolling extraction shooter. As with all extraction shooters, there's a base with your items and your ability to craft things. I haven't really figured out how the crafting works, really, to be honest, which is a massively important part of the game. But from what I understand, you get materials, and then you try and upgrade. So you can also build weapons if you wanted to. So in this game, every 10 minutes your extraction becomes available. But it's for a very brief amount of time, so if you miss it, you have to stick around. But I'm gonna stab him. Stab, stab, stab. I figured out that most enemies you can just stab. But if you get too much in the habit of just stabbing things, you will not survive. Oh! Little dude in there. I didn't see him. There is a food and drinking system, so I brought a drink with me just to be ready for it. I didn't bring a whole lot in this run, so this is kind of like a light load. So sometimes you have to switch to your... Woo! Ah! I can't see it. I was just going to say you have to switch to your flashlight sometimes to see. In which case you can't stab things if you have your flashlight out. So that's where it becomes like super important to have your health. This is my health bar down here. It's in red. If you're entirely good, you're in blue. Oh, and I've got all sorts of injuries up here. And you got to reload too. And it's bullet by bullet with every gun, from what I understand. Which, honestly, I'm kind of good with. Makes it a little more interesting. Oh my gosh. Oh. So when you die, you do lose your loot. You do get to keep the knife and your flashlight, so you can basically start any run with just those things. But it will help you to have a gun. It definitely does help. Alright, next on the list is Kingdom Rush 6. They called this one Genesis. Alright, so this one has 2 heroes, which I'm alright with. One of my favorite things about the Kingdom Rush series in general is just the barracks and the heroes. The idea that you can put your own units on the road, but also have towers being involved. So it's not like a full towers only experience. I always liked having things I could summon. Always enjoyed summoning. And this Kingdom Rush, I don't know if I'd say this is the strongest Kingdom Rush. I liked Vengeance a lot. But I haven't played... I played alright. I'm not on this one. I'm a huge fan of these like shotgun towers though. But yeah, at its core, Kingdom Rush is basically just a tower defense game, but it's the newest one in the series. I've always been a fan of Kingdom Rush, it is a little odd. I played it back in the Flash days, like the original Kingdom Rush and Kingdom Rush Frontiers. I didn't really like Origins that much, but I've got a soft spot for the Kingdom Rush series, and I had to mention it because I like it, and the new one's not terrible. And I was playing a one life mode. Last one on the list is States of Power demo. The current demo only lets you play France, which a lot of people have not been a huge fan of. But if you think about this game, it's basically Hoi 4 Lite. That's what a lot of people have been describing it as. Oh my gosh, I'm getting bombed over here. But Italy, for some reason, just doesn't declare war against me a lot of times, but the Soviet Union does. But yeah, they give you the World War II setting to work with, and it's just Europe on this map. But I did see that the full game will have the whole world, and you will be able to play more than just France. It was interesting because for me, I was just able to push out. But yeah, this is basically Hoi 4 Lite. You have your units, which this is your entire list of all the units that you get in this game. So I do kind of like that it's simplified because it makes it so that the units have more purpose, at least in my opinion, because in Hoi 4 you get all these different builds and everything, and it just turns into metas anyway. So in this case, you know, your tanks and your motorized actually end up being better attack units, while your infantry are better defense. You know, like it just already it works, and you don't have to worry about builds. The construction is fairly simple. Construction factories let you construct more. Civilian goods is basically just free money. Military factories build military supplies, which is like every equipment in the game just put in as one resource. So they lump stuff together like that, where it's not as complicated. It's a lot easier to get into than I would say Hoi 4 is, and it doesn't have 50,000 DLCs like Hoi 4, which is Hearts of Iron 4 for those who don't know. So for me, this game's a win. I'm gonna get into my tile so I don't lose it. No, get in there. There is an entrenchment system, as you can see by this little icon there, that gives me like 20% more defense or whatever. There is a loans buying tab, so I can buy resources if I need them, although I don't need them because I'm France and Germany put together, and a little bit of Poland in there. If you're wondering what this red is, that's devastation. There's devastation in this game. There's diplomacy. Like if I click on another country, I can see everything that they've got. They got alliances embargoed by countries and are at war with Romania, of all places. The AI is not super historical, as you may be seeing here. Or as you may be seeing here. I'm at war with the Soviet Union. I don't even remember how that happened, to be honest. Maybe it had something to do with Spain. I found that the Spanish War does not matter at all, unlike in Hoi 4. So, but I like this game as a simplified Hoi 4. That's the best way I could describe this game. And anything else other than that is just me rattling on. Oh, the research system. So there is a research system, and it looks like this. Basically, you get options, and you just pick one, and then you immediately have that researched. So in my case, I'd probably go with resource gain. I'm just a big resource guy. There's not really any real benefit to it other than just more loot. With the units, I guess the only other thing I could say is you see this red line on the units. That is how much damage that unit's taken. So it's like lost all that equipment and people. And the little green bar is their actual like fighting ability, how much stamina they effectively have left. Other than that, again, this is just simplified Hoi 4, and I'm all for it. Well, folks, that's basically my top 5 games that I would pick for this next fest. If you only have the ability to play 5 of them, these are the ones that I suggest. There were a couple games I had to cut out that just because it would be weird to say like top 6 or top 7 games, and I figured this would make for a more like professional video, maybe with it being top 5. But if you think it doesn't really matter, maybe in the future I'll just leave in the extras. I did want it to be like the games I would recommend the most. But yeah, that's everything. Well, folks, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.